should be. You have seen Schalke play over 5 weeks of Challenger Series.
Let's calm down. Let's calm
Do
down.
it. Give me something, mate. You can't just,
But
dance around
we
it.
talked a lot about this after the game,
Come on,
right?
tell me.
So you can invest resources either into Jisoo or Kozku. That's what I want to see from Misfits Academy. Pride Stalker, get off your farming train and go to the kill train. Let's change stations here.
How do you do that, though? Because Schalke...
Like, I can't teach you how to jungle. Like, that's not my job.
I'm just saying, Lulex has been incredibly good at knowing where his enemy jungler is and spotting them out. And Schalke as a team are very good at gaining jungle vision and gaining river priority. So Misfits here, it feels very much to me like you're saying Misfits need to be better players.
Look, no, that's not what I'm saying. The problem is, right, is that Misfits aren't doing anything.
Okay.
They just sit there and they lane. You know, like in solo queue, when your jungler just clears through the jungle and you guys just farm and nothing really happens. It's kind of a slow game. Like, that's what's happening for Misfits. Okay. They're not proactively getting deep vision in, in order to set up for a dragon.
Okay.
They're not trying to look for tower dives. They're not trying to snowball a certain lane. They don't come in to the game with a plan, is my point. Like, you know when you and I duo queue, I sit there and go, forget your bottom lane, just roam mid and camp me, because I will carry us, right? That is our strategy, and we come into the game with this in mind, and that is what you do. You camp mid with your Thresh, we kill everyone, and it's all us, because we come in with a game plan. And that's just what Misfits need to do. They need to shift their priority. Like, let's look at Kozku. What can he do on a carry? Maybe he can be the guy that can swing the game in their favor.
Quite possibly. Well, they're going to pick the Jhin for Yuki, Shen, LeBlanc, J-Spans alongside the Varus, Rengar, and Graves. And we have seen that camp selfie strategy work out before.
Yes.
Last week, Millennium were the only team really to force Schalke onto the back foot. Now, once again, we're going to see Schalke prioritizing that Tarm Kench, possibly. And that's something we haven't seen really up until this week. Vander's been very much more about the Karma and the Lulu picks.
I guess he's playing away from lane and more towards the mid game. We did see him have a few good Abyssal Voyages later on into the game one between these two teams. And he's also great at providing peel, so it allows players like Spinny J to go as ham as they want. They can be aggressive, they can go for those dives. And while they are a little bit messy, it at least has that extra bit of security. And it makes it difficult for the enemy team. So I think that it's a fine pick for Vander, demonstrating his versatility that he can play in full lane as well as out of lane. But that's kind of what you'd expect from this support.
Lulex will get his Elise once again as well. Didn't actually see as much from him as in the early game as we expected to, in all honesty. It was more Schalke just waiting until they could get more skirmishy fights than having a lot more aggression.
This is cool.
Lee Sin is cool, in fact, for Pride Stalker here. Yeah, I don't think we've seen him play it yet. He's been more about the Kha'Zix and the Rengar and the Graves, but Lee Sin works well for him, and Jisoo's going to get the Gragas once again.
So, I think this is fine. Jisoo, I think, plays a good Gragas. I think he would be better on a Nautilus. I think Nautilus is a little bit safer as a top laner right now and adds a little bit more freedom. But now, if you're Pride Stalker, this is where I'd be sitting, right? Maybe I try and snowball Kozku. He is on a tank. Maybe it's not the best person to camp. But if this is the lock-in for Schalke, right? This is actually a great opportunity because Renekton's now, he's going to be pushing in a lot. Elise is going to be looking for early dives on that top side of the map. So what Pride Stalker should do is path in a way where he can get early vision top side, he can prepare for a counter gank, because 1-2v2 win against that Schalke duo is going to swing this game so heavily in their favor. Renekton is all about the early push. Elise is all about that early game dominance. And if you get one counter gank in your favor, all of a sudden the map blows open. Gragas is going to scale better. Elise is going to have a much better mid lane transition or mid game transition than the Elise will. So in my eyes, I'm sitting there thinking already, like, hey, team, this is what we should do. We should look to play around this Elise Rengar combo.
I'm loving this sort of next degree of explanation we're getting from you now that I've berated you.
I feel like I did this at the end of last game.
Nah, fam. Schalke decided to focus out the supports, whereas Misfits Academy are going for the AD carries. No Ashe, probably going to be either a Caitlyn or a Sivir banned away here from Upset as well. He'll fall back to maybe his Ezreal. And what do you think of if you're Schalke here? You've got first pick after the second ban phase. Are you looking at mid or are you probably looking at support?
For picks?
Yeah.
As in, like, I think that for Schalke, ooh, okay, they're actually picking AD carry, which implies that they might be thinking about an assassin mid. I'm thinking they might go for Talon or Zed if you're Selfie, because the thing is, if you're going to pick up a Ziggs, yes, you have strong pushing power in the bottom lane, and it's pretty good with Tahm Kench too, because Tahm Kench, you lose push naturally, but Jin into Ziggs early on, Ziggs won't be able to do much once he gets the Lost Chapter. That's when he can start having a little bit more power in terms of pushing. It gives the ability for Tahm Kench to roam around the map, but you're also investing more AP. So you've now got an AP jungler, you've got an AP AD carry. Let's think about what we can put in mid, and this is why I'm sitting there thinking, he wants to consider going for that Zed or the Talon, either one of them.
Talon's something we've seen a lot more now. I think it depends on what Misfits Academy pick up as their mid laner here. They'll probably look down that AP route still. Syndra's on the cards if they want it. However, Syndra into pure AD
That's
that
almost certainly going to be an assassin.
Yeah.
Like, I would pick Zed into Taliyah any day.
Why, sir? Why do you think Zed works well into the Taliyah?
Yes. It's because she's a mid lane mage. Like, the great thing about assassins, especially like Talon and Zed, is that they do really well into mid lane mages. And while you can kite, sure, the moment he hits level 6, he will dumpster that Taliyah, right? Just flat out dumpster. He's way too mobile for Taliyah to ever really land her main, the W and the E, right? So the knockback and the minefield. And he always wins out in a 1v1 trade. Taliyah will definitely push him in early, like constant shove. She has great ability to roam around the map. But now, again, I want to backtrack to what we were talking about earlier. Pridestalker, his goals for this game. I'm looking at this map and I'm thinking, forget bot lane. Bot lane is not worth investing any time in. That Zed is going to be your big issue. Same for the Renekton. You cannot allow either of those lanes to snowball. So I would prioritize ganking the Zed, making sure that he is pushed back under his turret. He is denied as much farm as possible. Go for those early ganks. Force him to flash. Force him to play afraid against the Taliyah, who can just get that poke damage, has early game dominance. And that is how you then get control, because you have mid lane priority. You can use the roaming. Maybe that's when you roam bot. That's when you roam top. Yep. And so this is what I want to see from Misfits Academy. And I know we're talking a lot about Misfits, but I feel like Schalke have demonstrated their dominance throughout the regular season. It's not worth highlighting. Just continue being dominant, right? Like, but for Misfits, a team that is already guaranteed in playoffs, if they don't get a win here, I think that they're almost guaranteed to play against Schalke again coming into the semifinal. That's not locked in just yet. It depends on the outcome of this game and the series after this one. Yeah. But there is still the possibility of Misfits having to go up against Schalke again in the semifinal.
So Misfits aren't guaranteed playoffs yet. They could still be in tiebreakers for playoffs, yes. Especially if they lose this game and the next game is a tie. So Misfits looking for it, though. Make sure you guys get involved. If you think Misfits Academy are going to take the win, hashtag MFA winner. If you think Schalke are going to go undefeated in their first and perhaps only split here in the European Challenger Series, it's hashtag S04 win. Use the hashtag EUCS as well to make sure that we see all of those juicy, juicy tweets.
Or just tweet at us, you know,
yeah,
just for fun, just whatever. Just tweet at Medic, being all like, yo, I think you have a great jawline, like whatever.
Tweet at Vedius, be like, yo, Light is a stupid name for wards.
That too, that too.
I want to come back to jungle priority and jungle vision. It's something we've focused on a lot. We keep talking about Pridestalker not having the impact, perhaps, in Misfits Academy not making the plays. Jungle push and pressure in lanes and the ability to know where the enemy jungler is so vital at the moment that it can sound like we're dissing Pridestalker. We're saying he's not playing incredibly well. But because his team isn't reacting and not making proactive plays alongside his jungle in the early game, that's where Misfits are losing out. Now this is proactive. Lulex caught out. First blood, Pridestalker.
Nice play from Misfits Academy. Jisoo, he went in through the Baron pit, over the wall, using his body slam, came in through the brush. Lulex had no idea this was happening. He got CC'd for long enough for both Coscu and Pridestalker to get the damage down, and now first blood is on to Pridestalker. This is big for Misfits Academy, getting that early goal. Look, he's already completed his longsword, so he's going to have an advantage over Lulex. He's going to be able to get that level 3 sooner, and what we want to see is where does Pridestalker use this lead? He knows, he should know how to snowball an advantage. This guy is not... He is mechanically strong. The reason why he has the name Pridestalker is because he's like a Rengar, or he was known as a Rengar one-trick, right? You know how to snowball these leads. Let's just see how well he can do it.
He got to rank 1 in solo queue with that Rengar a while ago as well, so he was incredibly strong. And I think top and mid is where he wants to be focusing, especially since Coscu's burnt his exhaust. I'm wondering how much pressure Schalke might force towards that mid lane, knowing they've got a summoner advantage. Selfie on his Zed has been he's been incredibly strong the entire split. He's been one of the main carries for Schalke, and now he's on a mechanically intensive, high damage champion. I'm really looking forward to see how Selfie can show up in this game.
I can see your face is like glued to the screen, riveted by Selfie on the Z. But the matchup early on is not quite as exciting as you would like. The cooldown on that Shadow is 22 seconds at level 1, depending on runes and masteries. But it's really difficult to play hyper-aggressive in the Z early on during the laning phase. You often get bullied around quite a lot. So they will just push you around, bully you around. Early level 2 from the Misfits Academy bottom lane though. But this was also a thing we were talking about. As a duo, they're very solid. This was the duo that we actually saw play for the original Misfits lineup for a few of the early games during the regular season of Summer CS. Dreams is very much a playmaker. He likes to roam around the map. He's gone something more traditional, and now they're just displaying their dominance, exactly punishing the way in which you want them to punish this matchup.
It's part of where Zig struggles as well in the matchup, because he's got great wave clear, but early on you don't really have that much AP, so you can struggle into a calm. And now Lulex is coming towards mid, trying to punish Kozq, who hasn't got the exhaust, of course. Cocoon does land. Kozq was indecisive as to where he was going, and Selfie will follow him in. Pricestalker comes in for the counter gang, trying to get a kill on towards Selfie, who's just trading into him. Pricestalker will go down. Selfie gets the double.
This could not be any worse for Misfits Academy. You want to have that good early game lead, and you've just given a double buff to Selfie. This guy now is 2-0. Lulex goes to the early gank in mid, and Kozq, he made a mistake. So many mistakes for Misfits Academy.
There's a gorgeous symmetry about this, though, because the last time we saw Selfie play a really high mechanics mid laner was when he played Katarina, and he got a double kill there
I seem to remember
as well,
that too, yes.
which is just so beautiful to watch. Now, Kozq is so hesitant here. He actually steps back, and that allows Lulex to land the Cocoon.
It's that indecisiveness, and Selfie saw the flash coming. He had the Shadow out ready, and Pridestalker thinks he can get at least one kill, but nope.
His auto attack, the animation is going as that final auto comes in from Selfie.
Oh, this is rough. This is rough for Misfits Academy. Now, the game isn't over yet, right? Like, it's not done, but that mid lane was the one you wanted to try and punish early on. It was this Lee Sin that wanted to try and get the advantage, but now it's Lulex level 4, Pridestalker level 3, Selfie with a double buff, already completed the Dirk. Kozq will not have the same sort of strength. Watch how aggressive Selfie can play now.
He's got red buff as well, just slows Kozq up. Pridestalker's trying to come in from the side. He's going to jump in. The repel comes out. He's all straight away. Flash, Cocoon. Kozq is going to go down to Lulex, who sticks in the fangs.
Now Kozq, he can't play aggressively anymore. Every time he steps up in the lane with no flash, it's super easy for them to punish. Smitty J and Jisoo going at it. Jisoo actually winning out on that trade. Oh, that's because he's already gone back. Used his TP to get back into lane. So Smitty J will likely do the same. I'm so sad. Things were looking so good for Misfits Academy.
It's interesting as well, because it's partly Pridestalker's pathing. You know, he gets first kill, he starts blue, he goes down red side, he does his Krugs, and then he comes up towards mid, which means he's just delayed. Lulex is there before him, meaning that the early gank starts. And now Selfie, only level 5, can look for the roam down bot, because Misfits Academy are pushed all the way up. Yuki does have flash, as does Dreams, but Dreams is low already. The heal comes out, flash away, Dreams almost down, the bomb not quite going to connect. Shalke once again burns summoners.
Shalke can be pretty happy with that regardless. Even though they don't get a kill, it's going to alleviate a lot of the pressure for Upset and Vander. And this is the risk that you have. This is exactly what we were talking about. We wanted to see from Misfits Academy. Kozq had a great opportunity early levels to punish the Zed, push him underneath the turret, and then he could be the one to look for these roams. He could be the one trying to set up a dive onto that bottom tower. But now, because Selfie has priority, because he's gotten all these early kills, all this early gold, he's the one that's being given the freedom, and the communication within Schalke is so strong that they are making these proactive moves in the early game, making this map movement down bottom to get themselves a couple of summoner spells, setting them up for another play later on.
Like this from Kozq though, he's going to get some vision around that mid lane. Not yet 6, doesn't have that Weaver's wall to try and perhaps weave his way up towards the top lane. Catch out Smitty J. Selfie is 6 though, almost has the ignite up. Kozq has no summoners but can rock surf near those walls. Just surf his way away. Coming back to Selfie though, he's always been on the cusp of greatness as a mid laner, you know? He's always got into teams and not quite being their starting mid laner, not quite being able to perform at the highest level. a Challenger Series stalwart, but this season he has really stepped up to the plate. Mechanical players, utility as well. He's got a death mark onto Coscu. Ignite comes down, and Coscu is just dead to the mark. However, Selfie gets taken out by Pridestalker in return.
1-for-1 trade in mid, but the damage is already done. Coscu's being put even further and further behind. I want to echo what you were just saying. Like, Selfie was one of the star players for Misfits last season in Challenger Summer. He was able to... He was a big part of the dominance that Misfits Academy, or Misfits had back then. He didn't continue on with the main roster, but he's always been an individual that has demonstrated strong mechanical play. His communication always seems to be on point. As now Lulek's going for a 1v1 against Pridestalker.
We'll just jump away. It's 6 as well, so it does have the Dragon's Rage kick, if that at least decided to continue to chase. Lulex as well has really stepped up, though. Upset's going to dodge around a Deadly Flourish. He was a player on Unicorns who never really impressed, as you said in Picks and Bans. You know, he wasn't someone you really noticed on that Unicorns roster. Now, you're definitely noticing him, especially his early game prowess. And this is the kill once again.
So, yeah, it said damage level 6, level 5. Unfortunately for Coscu, little he can do. But Pridestalker, he's able to get the return kill because of the tower. But now Vanda, he's in some trouble.
That he is going to step forward. A curtain call does come down as Yuki looks for the snipe kills. He'll use Vanda. Dodges out a couple of the shots, and Misfits won't be able to capitalize on the fact that Vanda had overstepped.
So that's actually the impact of the nerf that happened to Jin's ultimate. So now the slow only lasts for 0.5 seconds rather than 0.75, which means that it's actually a little bit easier to dodge. If you land one shot, you're not guaranteed to land the rest. But fortunately for Schalke's bottom lane, they don't lose any casualties. They're able to push onto the tower now, and they will actually get a lot of damage down onto this objective.
That they will. It's a pretty strong push as well with the Ziggs. Of course, the Satchel Charge doing a huge burst near the end. Coscu continues to push Selfie back, but Selfie, with those early kills, has really been able to capitalize on this lane. And I want to see a little bit more roam from Coscu. You can see him trying to set it up, and top river vision is actually really strong here from Misfits Academy. Pridestalker was around, but decided he didn't want to go up towards the top lane. However, the rest of Misfits are coming in, and I feel this could have been slightly better coordinated, because if you bring Coscu up as well, you can see that the bot lane's back to where you bring Coscu and Pridestalker, you weave his wall behind the Renekton, and you force him to either burn a summoner, and then you have 5 people top, and you can look for that turret.
Great color knowledge there, loving that. I agree with you. But now we see a dive in mid.
Deathmark comes in once again, but the exhaust will stop Selfie in his tracks. He's going to get taken low, and will back away. This is the power of the exhaust into a Z. However, Deathmark is a shorter cooldown than that summoner spell, so he can try and go back in a bit. Pridestalker looking for the flank, goes in, kicks back, knocks down, and Selfie's dead.
Pridestalker gets a bit of revenge. Selfie doesn't have his ultimate available. He actually uses his shadow aggressively onto Pridestalker, and so Pridestalker just flashes in, kicks him in the face, and says, yeah, no, and he's able to get himself a kill. So great stuff coming out from the Misfits Academy jungler. And he took the words right out of my mouth. The power of exhaust. Very effective against these assassins, especially early on.
And Misfits have closed this gold lead a little bit. It was about 1,000 a few minutes ago. Now it's down to just 600. Jisoo looking a lot stronger on this Gragas, like even against someone like a Renekton, who is incredibly powerful early on and can force you back. Pridestalker's having the game of his life as well. This is the Pridestalker we wanted to see. This is the outplay, the mechanical plays that we see in solo queue, alongside a little bit of more awareness. Now, teleport comes in, Smitty J caught out, Jisoo knocks him back, explosive cast, Yuki gets the kill. Great play by Misfits, the reaction is superb.
Very strong teleport from Jisoo. Pridestalker's getting himself the dragon as well.
It's so much better for Misfits this game. They're actually reacting to the things that Schalke are doing. They're playing around vision. And even though they haven't utilized their team as well as they could do, they're still pushing Schalke back.
Wow. Not quite yet. They're able to net some of the
Look, not being
gold
behind
back.
Schalke is pushing them back, in my opinion.
But you can see Selfie, this is where he gets a little bit overzealous in mid. Burning the exhaust is definitely worth it for Selfie. But this is where he gets cocky. He shouldn't have used his shadow aggressively there. Like, that was a really nice play from Pridestalker. Guarantees the Thunderlords. But yeah, the top lane teleport from Jisoo was very good, very reactive. Able to punish Smitty J, who went too aggressive. Still isn't even able to use his flash. But Schalke will have the teleport advantage. Now, interesting that Misfits Academy are actually keeping their bottom lane up top. They want to try and force back the Renekton, who's really going to lose a lot of his early pressure now. A lot of the emphasis is on Selfie having success. But Schalke, the fact that they have been pushed back in this early game after what was a fantastic lead for Selfie is great for Misfits, right? Like, they just need to keep doing well. Their bottom lane is very strong now, completed the Ghost Blades. Koskyu rushing that Zhonya's. When he gets it, the matchup will be a little bit easier. You just have to be very aware of, I can only play when I have my exhaust. And now Misfits, they're looking to make this cross-map play, force this tower down, as Schalke is still yet to even get to the turret.
And Jisu's happy just to push it back. The TP does come in. Then we have a race for the first turret. Pretty sure Schalke will get this one because of Satchel Charge. There it goes down. Misfits ever so slightly slower. However, do take a turret off Schalke, null fear. A difficult task for many teams. However, 4 members now of Schalke are down towards this bottom side, and Jisoo needs to be cautious. No ult, of course, for him. Koskyu's going to come across straight into the face of Lulex and might have to flash the wall. Seismic shove, dodge with the repel. Jisoo jumps in. Lulex will go down. Smitty J, however, takes out Koskyu off towards the side. A 1-for-1 trade. Schalke continue to push into the turret. Misfits, however, are going to get a second tower in the top lane for themselves.
Thing is, if you're Misfits, you can actually be pretty happy with that trade. Okay, I wasn't sure that Schalke could get that objective, but
welcome to Satchel Charge.
Ziggs, very powerful tool to take down these structures. So overall, even trades. The fact that Koskyu goes down is not great, and also that the little thing that I like to say is now that he's got a kill, he's worth gold again. So Selfie is looking at him. With a target painted on his back. Yeah, he does have those Zhonya's now, though, so that's why that kill was actually very valuable. Upset needs to be careful.
Pridestalker jumps in. Vander is going to eat Upset. There's no mana, of course, on that Ziggs. Dreams jumped in by Selfie. Exhaust comes down. Vander knocked back. Selfie gets the kill. Dragon's Rage and the Sonic Wave comes out. Pridestalker solidifying his killing spree. A kill onto Vander as well for Jisoo. The curtain call. Hitting onto Lulex a couple of times, just clears the wave out, and now Misfits might look for this mid lane tower.
Good punish onto Selfie from Misfits Academy. They have a numbers advantage, given that Selfie traded his life for support. Not always the most optimal trade. This will actually solidify Misfits Academy with a solid gold lead now. So they're feeling pretty happy. Schalke, they're losing pressure on top. The Zed is falling, but not falling behind, but he's starting to struggle to have an impact. This double exhaust is doing a lot of work, and I feel like Selfie's decision-making is not the strongest. Just getting a little bit overzealous with a lot of the plays that he tries to make.
It feels a little bit to me like he sees kills happening on the rest of the map, is stuck in mid lane, and then when people come to mid lane, he's like, oh, I can join in the fun. But never quite able to capitalize properly on the kills. Let's have a look at this in mid once again. Upset gets caught to start it off.
So you can see Selfie, he wants to try and turn things around. He goes on to Dreams. I think committing his ultimate here was the mistake, because where he lands from his ultimate is a guaranteed spot, which makes it very easy for Pridestalker to land his ultimate, especially when you have the support from Yuki there as well. The fact that you give your life over for his support is what enabled them to get that tower. But now Shalke can just respond by taking the mid tower. The push from Ziggs, the tower destruction from that explosive charge is very potent, and Misfits had no answer.
There tends to become a point in games like this where you start to see the Zed just split, and that's exactly what he's doing onto Koskyu. Selfie! Zonya's not going to save you for long, Koskyu. Selfie takes him down. Basically a 1v1, although of course Lulex helped.
I feel like, okay, I know why Koskyu was sent bottom lane, and it's because the dragon's spawning soon. They would rather have Jisoo top because of his ability to TP in. But you can't be that overstepped as Koskyu when you have no vision in your own half of the jungle, as now Jisoo's actually winning this 1v1.
Dominus comes down. Jisoo looking for the kill on towards Smitty J here. He's going to use the kill to meet, but gets knocked up and knocked back by the explosive cast. Jisoo just needs to land one more barrel. Smitty's able to dodge around it. The curtain call comes down. And Yuki, high mechanical AD carry plays there. He deserved that kill.
Yeah, it was all Yuki. If it wasn't for him, that would not have been a kill. So props to the AD carry for Misfits. But well played by Jisoo, coming out ahead now of the Renekton. Very different from game one.
Incredibly different. And this is the Jisoo you were talking about before game one. You were saying he's a great player, played really well last week, had some great outplays on the Poppy. We need to see him do that. This game, he's shown up.
Yep. Stacking that early armor, which you can afford to do when two of the solo laners are a Zed and a Renekton. You have to be aware that there's still a lot of AP damage coming out from Shalke, though. But still, Shalke not quite the same level of dominance that they had in game one. This Ziggs is doing a great job of taking down these structures, and there's a lot of good vision control around the dragon for Shalke. But Misfits, they're much better at setting up for these objectives now. They're trying to be a lot more proactive when trying to fight Shalke.
It's only an Ocean Drake. It's not the end of the world if you don't get it. Selfie's going to jump back into tower range, dodges the knockback with the death mark. He's trading onto Jisoo. The Abyssal Voyage comes out as well, but Selfie just can't beat Jisoo. They're looking for the turret though, and actually, Misfits immediately ping on the other side of the map. They'll get a Drake and a tower for this trade.
But Shalke, they have 3 members in the top. I think they can just keep pushing, in fact, because the Lulex is also sitting on the flank. Their objective is to take away that tier 2 tower, and Misfits Academy probably cannot respond, so it will be Shalke the ones that overall come out ahead.
Jisoo has to flash away. Lulex tries to stick the fangs in the kill, or will go over to Lulex. Mega Inferno Bomb wasn't there in time, and now the turret's going to fall as well. It's the power of Upset with that satchel charge, just melts through the towers incredibly quickly. And although Misfits may have thought they had the winning side of that trade, it looks actually even like Shalke might give the Rift Herald over to Selfie here to make his split push even more effective.
Vander using this ultimate very effectively to make all of these plays happen. The fact that it's so easy for Shalke to move around the map enables them to quickly shut down these objectives and utilize it properly.
Lulex dodges around. Brightstalker can look for the smite here. The Weaver's Wall comes out and Brightstalker steals away the buff and forces Shalke to jump out of the back of the pit.
Small victory for Misfits Academy.
Rift Herald, man, it's the biggest buff in the game.
But here's the dive down bottom lane. Not really a huge amount to talk about. Simply just a good flank from Lulex, really, guaranteeing the objective as well as a kill.
A little bit of a mistake from Jisoo as well, because
even
with 3 members there, I think he dies. So I don't know why he's saying.
He just wanted to try and slow down the tower take, right? Like, as long as he's there, then it's difficult for Shalke to just hard commit. They always have to be aware. Yeah. But you're right, you could argue that Jisoo, he should have been aware of the fact that he had no vision inside half of the jungle. No one knew where Elise was. Didn't respect it, ended up giving his life. But I try to look at the bright side. Jisoo, he's just trying to, he died with honor, in my eyes. Died protecting what mattered to him. Speaking
of the bright side, great vision control from Misfits Academy at the moment. Lots of ward peppered around that red side jungle and some in their own blue. And this is actually a weakness we've seen from Shalke. And up until the last couple of weeks, it hasn't really been as much a weakness as previously. They have the lowest ward count of any team per member. They've got the lowest wards per minute, and they kill the least wards as well. Obviously, some of that comes down to the fact they're usually dominating the game, and so the enemy team has less chance to place down wards. But when you're not that far ahead, you need to be very aware that you have to try and place more wards than you're used to.
Warding is always an important thing. I think that people should always invest time into vision. Unless it's you, because sometimes last night in our duo games,
well, that was at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
To just walk in and just put vision down that wasn't getting us anything.
I just like light, mate. I just like light on the map.
I like to see. I believe that with the more vision I have, I can become more enlightened as a person.
Midichlorians, man. Vision is midichlorians.
What is a midichlorian?
It's a Star Wars thing.
Oh. I actually have heard the word
The
before.
more midichlorians you have, the more at one with the Force you are.
Ah.
Yeah. So like Anakin had the most midichlorian count that Obi-Wan had ever seen.
Wow.
I know, right?
A stack of midichlorians. Sounds like a cell to me. You know, like, I don't know, like a type of cell.
You're thinking of mitochondria.
Oh, I am!
Powerhouse of the cell. Selfie's the powerhouse of Shalke at the moment. Has used that shadow though and now needs to try and escape. Deathmark onto Brightstalker, jumps into the bush, but the exhaust from Coscu will stop him doing too much. The rest of Shalke have collapsed and there's no tower there. Brightstalker caught off on the wrong side of his team, but so is Lulex. Does get the kill. Coscu oversteps, the Zhonya's comes out. Vander eating up, Jisoo up towards the side. Dreams is gonna go down as well. Shalke have collapsed perfectly onto Misfits Academy and might even get the ace. Jisoo chased away by Vander, taken out by the tongue lick, and Shalke get away with 4 kills without losing a man.
It was Misfits that thought they would be the ones getting the collapse down onto Shalke, but it is Shalke that turn it around in their favor. There are a lot of blinking health bars. They cannot get any big objective off the back of it, but the fact that they won the fight is good enough for them. 3-0-1 on Upset right now. Please don't go for this Baron. I think it's very risky, but they're going to try it anyway.
They do it so quickly, though. It's already down to half HP. They're going to look to just melt it through. There's no curtain call for Yuki, and I'm not sure actually Misfits can do much about this. Maybe try and fight on the backside. Deadly Flourish comes out, doesn't connect onto Lulex, snipes it away. Lulex is so low, though. Misfits Academy decide they don't want to chase in, and Shalke get the Baron.
The funny thing is, if that Deadly Flourish had been a little bit later, he might have actually stolen it. Anyway, you can see here that the collapse comes down onto Selfie, but he's buying so much time in a 2 versus 1 that this allows the rest of Schalke to get the collapse. Notice the TP from Jisoo is miles away from the rest of the team, and Smitty J has a much better avenue to join the fight. Dreams is sitting on the front line thinking that he's still playing Thresh, but he can't provide the same sort of utility and peel that the Thresh can in that melee range, and that means that Yuki, he's just left on the backside. He can't do anything to keep his team alive. He's already used the Kerning Call, and they have nothing left but to concede the Baron.
It's the risk you get when you play into Schalke. Their coordination and their ability to set up plays, even when it seems like they are caught out, is incredible. And we talked so much about Selfie this game. Its mechanics there were absolutely on point. Dodges around with the death mark, gets away, gets to the bush, which he knows isn't warded, dodges back to the death mark shadow. Just entirely outplays Cosq and Pride Stalker.
Yeah, really good Zed play. This was the plays that you wanted to see.
Yeah.
The excitement.
Mate, I love a good Zed play.
You should definitely not watch my Zed then. But Selfie, he's doing a great job. He's now moving off to a side lane. Both exhausts are down, so there's not going to really be anyone that can deal with him in a 1v1. Maybe Jisoo. He's got his hands full dealing with Smitty J on the other side lane, as the rest of Shalke utilize this Baron along with the Satchel Charge to make taking these towers easier than cutting through King.
And now we see Schalke just adopt the 1-3-1 that we expected when Selfie got ahead early on. It's taking them a little bit longer perhaps than they would have liked, but still, with the Baron, they're looking for this Inferno next as well. Misfits Academy have a couple of avenues back into the game, but Cosq is still quite a long way around. Smitty J is going to get caught out. Deadly Flourish flashed away from Cosq, looking for the chase. Has the Riders with the slow. Smitty J knocked back into the team. Going to go low. Look at the damage on the Dreams and Cosq, though. And now Selfie wants a bit of this. He jumps in. 1 kill. 2 kills as he takes down Pride Stalker. Looking for 3 onto Yuki, and Cosq can't connect. But Schalke, once again, just pints her in. Jisoo knocks Selfie back, trying to get the kill, but Banda eats him up, and Jisoo will go down, upset with another.
Clean team fight win for Schalke. They have the Baron. There are no members left. I take that back. There are 2 members left from Misfits Academy, but I don't know if they will be enough to stop this siege coming in from Schalke. They have the inhibitor in their eyes. Oh, look at the damage from Lulex.
Cosq just gets taken out once again. He has not had a good time on this Talia whatsoever. 174. And at times this looked like he's impacting fights, but Schalke take the inhibitor 24 minutes in. This is typical Schalke. This is signature Schalke. They wait until they can get 1 good fight, and then they just decimate the rest of the map.
Schalke no fear. On track to getting themselves their perfect challenger split. The first perfect challenger split, and you can see Smitty J, it all starts off with him being caught out of position. He tries to move through a jungle that does not belong to him, but then you get the Ziggs straight in the middle onto 3 members, just shreds through Misfits. Selfie had the quadra kill in his eyes, but the slows made it too difficult for him to get onto Yuki. Decided, you know what, I'll call it a day, I'll take the double.
Again, the Jisoo flank just not quite there at the end of it as well. And like we talked about Misfits having great team fighting in game 1, and that's what they were relying on. Here, their early game was really strong, and their team fighting has looked at ends a lot of the time. Cosq's going to get jumped up by Selfie once again. The exhaust comes down, but the Deathmark waits it out. Cosq pops the Zhonya's, but there's nowhere to go. Selfie's on a rampage. Schalke looking unstoppable.
Even through the exhaust, even through the Zhonya's, Selfie has far too much damage. Level 16 now. They're looking to close out this game.
That they are looking for their second inhibitor, and Schalke have their eyes on the prize being a perfect split here in Challenger. Pride Stalker chased off towards the side. Jisoo trying to keep up with Smitty J, but the next inhibitor tower is the target here for Schalke. They force Jisoo back. Mega Inferno Bomb gets the kill, an unstoppable upset. And Schalke just look unbeatable.
Well, they will be unbeatable as they make their way towards that perfect split. 15 points will be theirs, completely uncontested, as they dive the Nexus turrets. They're going to try and end this game.
That they are. Second Nexus turret is in their eyes. They're looking for the Nexus as well. Pride Stalker trying to hold on to something here for Misfits, but all he can hold is a Razor Shuriken to the heart from Selfie. The second Nexus tower goes down. Lulex does not give a damn as he goes down into the GA as well. Eventually, Schalke will decide to end the game. Yuki trying to do what he can to hold out some dignity here, but he gets deathmarked and taken down as well by Selfie. The Nexus goes down, Schalke 2-0.
Schalke with the perfect split. The first one in European Challenger Series history. Congratulations to Schalke. Dominance throughout. One of the risks that other dominant teams in the past have displayed is overconfidence. They've come in a little bit too cocky and they ended up giving away free wins to the enemy team when they shouldn't have. Schalke did not do that this split. While there were elements of overconfidence, they always brought it back in line and they were always very much, you know what, we're just going to play this out clean, calmly and effectively, and they did that once again. A very swift game coming from the side of Schalke. We saw some bright sides from Misfits Academy early on, but it kind of sucks when you give your mid laner a double buff, or the enemy mid laner a double buff and a double kill at level 3.
Yeah, if you get rid of Cosq in that game, Misfits Academy are in a much better position. I think he ended 1-8-5 or something like that. And he did work with his team, and PrizeStalker did a superb job. I want to bring it back to him because he was the member in the first game that we said wasn't having as much impact as he could do. Misfits played that early game about as well as I've seen any team play against Schalke early on.
Well, again, excluding the whole Z thing, I think.
Well, yes, yes. They played the vision game really well, which is something that we focus on.
There was some praise for Misfits. They definitely had a lot of bright spots. They played a lot of things very well, but now they need to look towards playoffs because the risk they have is if our next series goes to 1-1, they're going to be stuck in a tiebreaker for that final spot to go up against Schalke.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It is indeed a tough one.
If the next game goes 1-1, actually, they could also get third position.
They could.
So they could play up against PSG instead. But we're going to go to a quick break. We're going to recall, but when we return, we'll be back in lane with our third matchup of the day. It's Fnatic Academy versus Team Kingwin. Lulex is coming towards mid, trying to punish Cosq, who hasn't got the exhaust. Of course, Cocoon does land. Cosq was indecisive as to where he was going, and Selfie will follow him in. PrizeStalker comes in for the counter gank, trying to get a kill on towards Selfie, who's just trading into him. PrizeStalker will go down. Selfie gets the double.
Upset needs to be careful.
PrizeStalker jumps in. Vander is going to eat up Upset. There's no mana, of course, on that Ziggs. Dreams jumped in by Selfie. Exhaust comes down. Vander knocked back. Selfie gets the kill. Dragon's Rage and the Sonic Wave comes out. PrizeStalker solidifying his killing spree. A kill onto Vander as well for G2. The PrizeStalker caught off on the wrong side of his team, but so is Lulex. Does get the kill. Cosq oversteps. The Zhonya's comes out. Vander eating up. G2 up towards the side. Dreams is going to go down as well. Schalke have collapsed perfectly onto Misfits. The second Nexus tower goes down. Lulex does not give a damn as he goes down into the GA as well. Eventually, Schalke will decide to end the game. Yuki trying to do what he can to hold out some dignity here, but he gets deathmarked and taken down as well by Selfie. The Nexus goes down, Schalke 2-0.